You're no son of mine.
I am your son. I have always been your son.
Those were the last words Tywin Lannister ever heard. And almost every viewer who watched that scene missed what Tyrion was actually doing. He was not begging, he was not asking for anything. He was forcing a man to hear a truth that man had spent 30 years refusing to acknowledge. And he did it with a crossbow aimed at his father's chest. To calculate the atmospheric pressure of this privy chamber, we must understand what these two men have been to each other for Tyrion Lannister's entire life. Tywin built an empire on the idea that the Lannister name was strength made visible. Every political move, every alliance, every war he orchestrated, all of it was meant to carve the Lannister legacy into the stone of Westeros forever. And then his wife died, giving birth to a dwarf, a son who was small, strange, and impossible to display with pride. So Tywin did what powerful men do when reality threatens the story they are selling. He split the difference. He kept Tyrion alive, because killing your own blood is a different kind of scandal. But he refused to treat him as a son in any meaningful way. Not heir, not trusted advisor, not loved child, a liability with a name. What Tyrion needs from this confrontation is not rescue and not mercy. He needs the man in front of him to say one true thing before one of them dies. Tywin needs Tyrion to put down the crossbow and walk back into a world where nothing has changed. Both of them are going to fail.
Put down the crossbow. Who released you? Your brother, I expect. He always had a soft spot for you. We'll go and talk in my chambers.
Tywin does not ask what Tyrion wants. He does not ask what happened. He gives 4 consecutive instructions in 11 seconds and ends with a location change. His chambers, his territory, his ground. This is the first move in the scene, and it is entirely about spatial control. Tywin has spent Tyrion's whole life directing where he goes, what he says, and what role he plays. The crossbow is new, the choreography is old. Proxemic authority, the use of physical space and location as a tool of dominance, moving another person from neutral or threatening ground to controlled territory in order to re-establish the power structure. Tywin has done this to Tyrion his entire life, not through violence, through architecture. When Tyrion was put in charge of the sewers of Casterly Rock, that was proxemic authority. When he was assigned to the most dangerous position at Blackwater, that was proxemic authority. Every assignment that kept Tyrion useful but subordinate, and away from the seat of real power, was the same move this man is making right now, redirecting him to a space where the hierarchy is already decided.
This is how you want to speak to me? Shaming your father has always given you pleasure,
All
hasn't it?
my life, you've wanted me dead.
Notice the reversal. Tyrion enters this scene as the man with the weapon. Tywin immediately reframes him as the aggressor. The shame belongs to Tyrion. The desire for death belongs to Tyrion. In 4 sentences, Tywin has attempted to make the person holding the crossbow the one who is causing harm. This is not improvisation. This is a pattern so deep in Tywin that it operates automatically. He cannot acknowledge threat without reassigning it.
Yes. But you refuse to die. I respect that. Even admire it. You fight for what's yours. I'd never let them execute you. Is that what you fear? I'll never let Ilyn Payne take your head. You're a Lannister. You're my son.
Tywin says the words, "You're my son," and says them under a crossbow aimed at his chest. 30 years of refusal. And now, when it costs him something, when it is the price of survival, suddenly the acknowledgement arrives. This is the cruelest moment in the scene, not the death. This. A man finally saying the thing his child needed to hear, and saying it only because he is afraid. Conditional recognition. Acknowledgement of a person's identity or worth that is granted only when the acknowledger is in danger or at a disadvantage. Recognition that is transactional rather than genuine. Tyrion has heard versions of this structure his whole life, not the words, but the logic underneath them. You are valuable when I need you. He was sent to King's Landing as Hand when Tywin needed someone expendable enough to manage Joffrey. He was praised after Blackwater and then denied the credit publicly. The pattern is identical. Tywin gives with one hand when the other hand has already decided the real terms. Tyrion recognizes this. That recognition is why the crossbow does not come down.
Who?
Shay.
3 words. Then a pause so long it changes the temperature of the room. Tyrion has just strangled a woman he loved. He is not confessing to his father for absolution. He is saying something out loud for the first time, to the one person in Westeros most responsible for what just happened. Shay was in Tywin's bed. Tywin does not register the weight of this. His response, "Who?" is not confusion. It is dismissal. He heard a name. He chose not to place it.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
She was a whore.
Tywin repeats "doesn't matter" twice in 3 seconds. Repetition under pressure is not emphasis. It is suppression. He is trying to close a door that Tyrion just opened. The word whore is a category, not a name. Tywin refuses to say Shay's name. He reduces her to a function. This is the same operation he performs on Tyrion. Reduce the person to their most manageable label so you do not have to deal with what they actually are. Semantic reduction. The deliberate flattening of a person's identity into a single disqualifying category, used to deny that person moral standing, emotional relevance, or the right to be grieved. Tywin has used this tool on Tyrion since birth. Not a son, a dwarf, not a Lannister, a shame. The word whore in this moment is not a description of Shay. It is a deletion. Tywin is telling Tyrion that what he lost does not deserve to be mourned, and that anyone who grieves it is weak. Tyrion has heard this his whole life directed at himself.
I am your son, and you sentenced me to die. You knew I didn't poison Joffrey, but you sentenced me all the same. Why?
The question, why, is the center of this scene. Not the crossbow, not Shay. The actual wound underneath everything is this. Tyrion knows his father knew. He was not incompetent, he was not deceived, he chose. He sat in the seat of judgment and decided his own son's death was an acceptable outcome. The why does not expect an answer, it expects an admission. Tywin cannot give that admission, not because he lacks an answer, but because giving it would require treating Tyrion as someone whose suffering is real. That is the one concession Tywin has spent 30 years refusing to make. He redirects to dignity and his chambers. The same spatial authority moved from the opening of the scene. In crisis, people return to their oldest tools.
You afraid of a dead whore?
Tywin chooses contempt. At the moment when his son has just confessed grief and asked a question that deserved a serious answer, Tywin reaches for mockery. This is the line that pulls the trigger. Not strategically, but psychologically. Because Tyrion is not reacting to this specific insult. He is reacting to every insult before it, of which this is only the most recent. Contempt is the one register that offers no ground. You cannot negotiate with contempt. You cannot earn your way out of it.
You shot me.
Tywin is genuinely surprised. This is important. He truly believed the old choreography would hold. Redirect, reframe, dismiss, move to his chambers. He has controlled Tyrion this way for 30 years. The bolt in his chest is the first evidence he has ever received that the structure has actually failed. His shock is not fear yet. It is the confusion of a man whose model of reality just produced an impossible result. 12 words. This is what the entire scene was building toward. Tywin says, "No son of mine," from the ground, bleeding, and it is still reflexive. Even now, even dying. He reaches for the same denial he has used since Tyrion was born, and Tyrion closes it, not by arguing, not by asking for love, by stating the one fact that cannot be undone regardless of what Tywin refuses to acknowledge. Filial reckoning. The moment when a child, no longer seeking the parent's approval, forces the parent to confront the factual reality of the relationship they spent years denying. This is not a plea. The time for pleading ended long before this room. Tyrion is not asking to be loved. He is telling his father that the denial was always a lie, and that the lie is now over. "I have always been your son" is not sentiment. It is an autopsy finding. It names the thing that was true whether Tywin said it or not, and it names it at the moment when Tywin can no longer do anything about it. But here is what the show never told you. In the books, Tyrion does not pull the trigger because of Shay alone. Before he finds Shay in Tywin's bed, his brother Jaime tells him the truth about his first wife, Tysha, the woman Tyrion loved as a teenager, the woman Tywin told him was a whore hired to take his virginity. The truth is that Tysha was real. She actually loved him. Tywin forced Jaime to lie. Then Tywin had every soldier in Casterly Rock assault her in front of Tyrion and paid each one with a gold coin, because Lannisters were worth more. Tyrion never recovered from that. He spent years searching for her. When he finally asks Tywin where she went, Tywin answers, "Wherever whores go." That line is cut from the show. Without it, the scene becomes about a father who refused to love his son. With it, it becomes about a father who destroyed his son's capacity to be loved at all, and then dismissed the evidence when confronted with the cost. The psychology changes completely. The show version is about recognition. The book version is about annihilation. What Tywin Lannister dies unable to do is what causes the most lasting damage in any hierarchy built on denial. He cannot distinguish between what is true and what is convenient. For 30 years, denying Tyrion's worth was convenient. It kept the Lannister image clean, and Tywin's discomfort manageable. The danger of that strategy is not that it hurts the person being denied. The danger is that the person being denied eventually stops needing the acknowledgement. And when acknowledgement becomes conditional, offered only when the acknowledger needs something, the moment it arrives too late, it accelerates rather than prevents the rupture. Every organization built on the idea that difficult contributors can be used without being seen will eventually find itself on the wrong end of a crossbow it never saw coming. Tyrion pulls the trigger twice. The first bolt is anger. The second bolt, after I am your son, I have always been your son, is something colder. So here is the question. Was Tywin capable of genuinely acknowledging Tyrion and chose not to, or had 30 years of denial made the real thing structurally impossible for him?